Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Joshua Davis. This is a case I had done a couple of years back, and I think I just did psychic impressions for him then. But this time I'm doing a couple of spreads, and I'm going to give you my psychic impressions again. So Joshua Davis Jr. was 18 months old at the time that he went missing from his home, where 7 adults and 3 other kids were at the time. Those adults were his father, his grandfather, and his great grandfather, and his mother. And there were other folks there. So between those four, those are blood relatives, and then there were 3 additional and other children. The mother was pregnant at the time with her second child, and so this took place in New Braunfels, Texas, which is just outside. It's like north of San Antonio, like in between the stretch of San Antonio and Austin, but it's closer to San Antonio. He disappeared February 4th, 2011, and according to reports, it was really cold out that day to the point where the highway was shut down. Okay. The search was extensive. The police believe that the family was untruthful about what happened to the baby. Family members waited up until an hour to call 911 after the baby disappeared, using that time to hide evidence and drug use and to hold a family meeting, says some members of law enforcement. That's what's believed. The mother's name is Sabrina Benitez. The maternal grandmother, who was not present that night, her name is Natalie Vargas. She's been the most outspoken with the media with Joshua's case than anybody. And shout out to her for that. I appreciate that. All right. So, according to reports, none of the family members, the adults, most of who were in the living room, did not see the baby leave the bedroom where he was with his mother. The bedroom and the living room were neck and neck. Like, you would see anybody, you would just be facing the door or whatever, you'd have direct access. So for that many adults to have been in the living room and to not see the baby come out of the bedroom is a thing, is suspicious to me, since the door of the bedroom was in direct view from the living room. According to the mother and the grandmother, Sabrina says that when she didn't see the baby for a while, she got up to look for the baby, thought the baby was in another room with another child playing. When she didn't find the baby, then she said she panicked and they were looking for the baby for 20 minutes before somebody called 911. But it was found later that it was more up to 45 minutes to an hour that, before they actually called the police. Now, mind you, it's cold out. Now, hold on. The other thing is that the grandmother said there was somebody, one of the guests had left the house at that time, and the guest claimed, now mind you, the baby's 2 feet tall. The guest said that the baby followed him outside. As a grown man, when you leave a residence, you don't close the door behind you. Like you just left and it's cold out and you left the door open behind you for a baby to follow you. Why wasn't the door closed behind you? So that's an issue I have. Then he says when he realized it, he turned around, picked the baby up, brought the baby back in to the house and said goodnight to everyone. Right? So I didn't find anything that said that, the people in the house verified that that's what he actually did. Right? Because again, nobody's got their story straight. Like nobody's coordinated, right? You're just hearing things here and there, different accounts of the story. So he left. Police were called. Police wanted to talk to everybody. Grandmother says when that guy came back to the house to be questioned, he came with an attorney. Okay. So nothing ever came about any of it. And again, they did an extensive search. And so this is where we are. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the spreads, and then we'll do my psychic impressions. So in this spread, we have top row going horizontal. We have child, marriage, main female, journey, occupation, courtship, pathways, unexpected income, coffin, and gift. In this spread, we have again gift, child, marriage going horizontal across, judication, occupation, pathways, mature woman, coffin, courtship, and great fortune. So ultimately, based on these spreads, there's one more spread that I have to show you guys. I believe that the child was sacrificed. I believe that the child was sold and sacrificed for money. But I think that there was a breakdown in which whatever they thought they were going to get, they weren't going to get. And when I say they, I mean members in the household. We have couple, we have marriage, so that's indicating parents. So, of course, this is all alleged. Okay, this is opinion and impression. But I believe, and again, shout out to grandma. And I think if grandma was in the house, that baby would have never gone missing. The baby would have never gone missing. You're talking about a young couple who was pregnant again, um, and with an 18-month-old, and everybody's cohabitating, and it's money. It's money. There are people in that area, as there are in other parts of the country, California, that practice this Santeria stuff. These child sacrifice. They think it's going to bring them certain funds and gifts and all of these types of things. And that's what I take away from this. I mean, there's other components in the cards. You're free to, of course, interpret them as you do. But I have a reason as to why I believe the child was sacrificed. It wasn't just impressions. I actually did mediumship. So again, and the maternal grandmother, that's her daughter. Obviously she's going to support her daughter, but there must be some part of her that knows that this is all the way wrong. And again, I'm glad that at least she's out there, keeping the baby's personhood alive and so forth. So let's get on to the next spread. So in this spread, we have wealthy man, unexpected income. We're going horizontal, thief, poverty, courthouse, change, great fortune, house, community, main male, official person. Okay, what this is telling me is that that person that left the house is involved in this. Now, if the baby did not leave that bedroom, then mom allegedly passed the baby through the window, and that guy came, like they were in cahoots with this together, or maybe the mom, the father, and this guy were in it together. Baby was passed through the window to this guy, and he left, and they took this baby to a bruja or somebody, and the baby was sacrificed for what they thought they were going to get, some kind of fortune, some sort of religious ceremony, some sort of like witchcraft thing. This is the strong suspicion that I have. So now I guess I'll go into so that was my impression. My impression was that, and which came in very, very strong, almost immediate. I remember when I looked at this case, it had like ritual, like stuff all over it to me. And I don't think that they got what they wanted from this. I don't think they got what they wanted, and so it looks bad. And so the guilt is, I feel, is what's keeping mom from going public and having some sort of public presence in this case. It's guilt, because even from some of the images that I see, I can see it. You can tell when parents are upset because something's happened to their child. You can tell when it's genuine, and you can tell like when there's a guilt factor. Like with Dylan Eiler. By the way, if you've seen that reading that I did, this was a case I mentioned in his case about there being an elder on the other side with the baby. Okay, that is with the baby, because sometimes they don't come through. But I'll get into that in a minute. So again, my interpretation from the first spread. If you go back to this first spread in this video, the last two cards, coffin and gift. All right, unexpected income, coffin, and gift. Okay, there was something that was to be expected from this situation, this exchange. And then we go back to the second spread, and like the last 3 or 4 cards, we have mature woman, who could have been whoever they was going to do this deed. Mature woman, coffin, courtship, and great fortune. So was this couple to be relieved that they not only were going to be one child, but they were going to get something for it? Like there was something that was going to come in return for them that was supposed to be this good fortune situation. So, those cards are very telling. And again, it's up to your interpretation. So, but at this point, to final out the reading, I'm gonna let you know briefly what the mediumship was from when I did this a couple years ago. So, almost immediately, I was able to connect with the baby, and there was, I believe this was the father's side, a great aunt, great aunt, something like that. It was an aunt. It wasn't a grandmother or great grandmother. It wasn't. It was specifically an aunt, and it was on the paternal side. And this lady was angry. She was angry at what they did to the baby, the position they put the baby in. Very angry. She only gave me a couple of what felt like moments, basically just letting me know that the baby was okay. He was in good hands, a lot of loving and positive energy around him. When they presented, there was a dark background, and she was dressed in like dark clothing, but good vibes from the baby. The baby was good, but she was not good with this. Very angry at those involved in this, connected with this situation, and had no qualms about letting me know. She didn't stay long, or there wasn't this long, drawn out thing giving me details as to what exactly happened, because again, it's a respect factor. And most of the time, these babies, when this happens to them as babies, if they come through in the baby state, they're going to be accompanied by somebody, right? But if it's like what's his name? Dior came through as an adult male. Okay, so he pretty much represented himself. But I think the baby was also presented the way that the baby was to reflect the innocence of the baby in the situation. The baby was 18 months, was only 2 feet tall, could not have reached the door, jimmied it, or did anything to get out on his own. This was definitely foul play involving members of the house. And the aunt on the paternal side, great aunt, whoever she was just livid when she presented. Livid, not swearing or anything like that, but the energy was really quite clear that there was some serious discontent, and she didn't appreciate what happened. Just anger, just very, very much angry at what they did to the baby. So again, this is why I mentioned the Dylan Eiler case, because I also saw him with like a grandmother. He came through with a grandmother, and so when you watch that reading, and I mentioned, I did a case, and this is the case I'm talking about. It's a case of Joshua Davis Jr. So that's what happened, guys. So, send the baby some love. Again, I'm grateful to the grandmother that she has done what she's been doing, and it would be nice, if more family members would, keep the presence alive, whether it's on social media or doing doing these news shows, these local news shows, like every few years. Just keep, if you care about your loved one, don't just ask people to do readings for you. You have to actually put the work in. You have to let people know that you care about them, and that you're still caring to know what happened. A lot of people want readings, and when I go in and I do the research, there's nothing. There's no family activity. There's nothing. It's so hard to get information to even present to you guys as a basic bio in the background, because I can't even find news clippings with family members. No updates from 5-6 years ago. Nothing. Not a Facebook page, not nothing. So shout out to the grandmother, and thanks guys for tuning in. Again, much love to the baby. And those that really care about the baby and that were not involved in this madness. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the video by liking, subscribing, and commenting on the video. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.